G'day, folks. Welcome to the show where we explore everything that's possible with technology, mainly focused around the world of AI and all the digital product releases that are coming thick and fast each and every day. So, as per usual, we start with the news. We run through all the top stories of the last 24 hours. This probably takes usually around 40 to 45 minutes. We run through everything important in the world of AI, and then we finish off with a little product demo to show you exactly what's possible and what's accessible today. So, without further ado, let's jump into the first story. Now, we touched on this yesterday. It's probably been top of the bill for a lot of people over the last few days, but it's the deal between Nvidia and OpenAI. And this is from CNBC. They've got a little angle on this. The Nvidia $100 billion deal with OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, followed one-to-one negotiations between the CEOs of the two companies. Terms are finalized during President Trump's UK trip before both men headed to California to unveil the OpenAI's infrastructure push at Nvidia's headquarters. Even with Nvidia's massive investment, OpenAI plans to take on debt and may build and operate its own cloud services. So this is really interesting. It looked like there was just two of them kind of thrashing this out between each other, which was kind of cool. Sam had a deadline. OpenAI CEO is heading to Texas to unveil his company's next big infrastructure push. It's to do with Stargate. We'll cover that in a sec. And NVIDIA CEO Jensen wanted in on the action. Through a series of hurried negotiations, late night calls, and last minute contract tweaks, the two giants of artificial intelligence struck a $100 billion partnership on Monday, hours before Altman boarded his flight to a city of about 130,000 residents, 180 miles west of Dallas. Okay, this good ammo for part of Trump's state visit to the UK. The deal, which Huang described as monumental in size, marks a watershed moment in the tech industry as capital influence are increasingly concentrated in the hands of two companies closest to the heart of the artificial intelligence boom. And Jensen now presides over the world's most valuable public company, worth nearly 4.5 trillion after gaining 180 billion following Monday's announcement. This was the meme. So the meme was, I don't know if you saw the show yesterday, that we didn't have the money to buy this from Nvidia. We needed 100 billion. They announced a deal with Nvidia. Stock goes up. Money is now available. So this is a huge deal. They're building Stargate. There's lots of different sites, and Altman says you should expect a lot from us in the coming months. And yeah, this also comes off the back of the other story we covered. Was the pact also comes less than 2 weeks after a disclosure from Oracle indicating that OpenAI agreed to spend 300 billion in computing power with the company over the next 5 years. And that is all under the Stargate umbrella. So going forward, all of OpenAI's infrastructure projects will fall under the Stargate umbrella. Representatives from Microsoft, Oracle, and SoftBank didn't immediately respond for comment, but they've reviewed 700 to 800 potential locations since unveiling Stargate in January. That is quite a lot. Okay. In Monday's announcement, OpenAI described NVIDIA as a preferred partner, but executives told that it's not an exclusive relationship. And the company is continuing to work with large cloud companies and other chip makers to avoid being locked to a single vendor. Okay. But yeah, huge amounts of money changing hands between OpenAI, NVIDIA, Oracle, SoftBank in a roundabout way, which we discussed yesterday. But it's looking really big for Stargate. So the other thing they announced too yesterday, late last night, was that there's 5 new Stargate sites with Oracle and SoftBank, putting us ahead of schedule on the 10 gigawatt commitment we announced in January, which is crazy. That's a large amount of gigawatts. Again, we're yet to have the first 1 gigawatt data center. Apparently, xAI and Elon are going to win that race. That's the bet. But we've got a lot of new data centers coming. These put Stargate ahead of schedule to secure the first 500 billion 10 gigawatt commitment by the end of 2025. Maybe we just zoom in on this date on this article a minute, make it bigger. And here we go. This was the announcement. 5 new US data centers combining the combined capacity of the 5 new sites, along with our flagship site in Texas, with CoreWeave brings Stargate to nearly 7 gigawatts of planned capacity and over 400 billion in investment over the next 3 years, puts on a clear path to securing the full 500 billion 10 gigawatt commitment we announced in January by the end of 2025 ahead of schedule. Okay, so it's all going. The other 2 new Stargate sites being announced today can scale to 1.5 gigawatts over the next 18 months. The second site is in Midland County, Texas, be developed in partnership with SB Energy and SoftBank. But yeah, Stargate is charging ahead. This is a quote from Sam Altman too. AI can only fulfill its promise to build the compute to power it. If we build the compute to power it, that compute is the key to ensuring everyone can benefit from AI and to unlocking future breakthroughs. We're already making historic progress towards that goal through Stargate and moving quickly, not just to meet its initial commitment, but to lay the foundation for what comes next. There's a quote here from Oracle 2 and a quote from Masayoshi Son, the chairman and CEO of SoftBank. So it looks like Stargate is raging ahead and it's going to hit its targets. Well, that's what it says. So we'll see. The data center race is on, mainly the 2 competitors of Stargate and xAI. We'll see who hits that 1 gigawatt milestone first. The other huge kind of investment news and series of model releases are coming out of China, and this is through Qwen, which is inside of Alibaba. Now, before we dive into the models here, we just want to read I think we're going to read the investment story first. So this is Alibaba. Alibaba is making one of the largest investments globally right now, committing to over 53 billion to AI and cloud infrastructure for the next 3 years, and signaling plans to increase the budget even further as competition increases and accelerates. The investment powers Alibaba's push into advanced AI models, notably launching Qwen 3 Max, a language model with more than 1 trillion parameters, and deepening global expansion through new data centers and partnerships. So yeah, it's a really big investment. This is over 3 years, so racing ahead pretty quickly. And this will be concentrated on not only infrastructure, but AI tech, language models such as Qwen 3 Omni, multimodal, of course, and immersive tech like VR and intelligent vehicles. Alibaba is a prominent open source AI development. This was an interesting point too. Most people used to think that China was closed source and the West was open source. It's kind of flipped the script where we've got closed source in the West, in the US, mainly in Europe, and then open source in China. So we're actually finding ourselves with a lot of dev teams, a lot of engineers and product people in the US and Europe actually leveraging Chinese models this because they're open source and they're really good. So an interesting turn of events. They've done a lot of investing too. Over the last 3 years, Alibaba has participated in deals worth over 3.3 billion with leading models with leading AI model starters such as Moonshot, Minimax, and robotics innovator Lynx Dynamics. Lynx? I'm going to say that. Continuous funding is directing both internal research and external ecosystem acceleration. And they are building out the Alibaba Cloud that's rolling out to its first data centers in Brazil, France, and the Netherlands, with additional facilities in Malaysia, Dubai, Mexico, Japan, and South Korea, covering 29 global regions. It's quite the pump. Overseas growth now exceeds domestic, indicating Alibaba's ambition to become a dominant global AI service provider. So Alibaba's on a bit of a tear. It's kind of being really aggressive in the private sector in AI, directly competing with US titans in every single area, it looks like. So yeah, shout out to Alibaba. Let's tuck into the Qwen model. So this is Qwen 3 Max. And this is newly released. This came out today, actually. So obviously we're behind time compared to China. So this came out today. Qwen is famously, let me see if I can make this. Okay, that's good. Qwen released some great models, and they've got Qwen Chat. We covered it the other day. I think it was yesterday, actually, we covered it. But here we go. Let's read through it. Following the release of Qwen 3, we're thrilled to introduce Qwen 3 Max, our largest and most capable model to date. The preview version of Qwen 3 Max Instruct currently ranks third in the Text Arena leaderboard, surpassing GPT-5 Chat. The official release further enhances performance, encoding, and agent capabilities, achieving state-of-the-art results across a comprehensive suite of benchmarks, including knowledge, reasoning, coding, instruction following, human preference alignment, agent tasks, and multilingual understanding. Okay. It's now available too via the API on Alibaba Cloud or explore it directly through Qwen Chat. Qwen 3 Max Thinking is still under active training, so we can't use that yet. And then the base model, obviously, which is then trained to start with, and then all the models kind of filter down from that, has over 1 trillion parameters and was pre-trained on 36 trillion tokens. Its architecture follows the design paradigm of Qwen 3 series, incorporating our proposed global batch loading loss. Okay. We've got some rankings down here. The preview version of Qwen 3 Max has secured top 3 global ranking on LM Arena Text leaderboard. You can see where it is. It kind of sits down here. And we've got some more nice results comparing it to Opus 4, Non-Thinking, and DeepSeek V3.1. I'm not sure if that might be a tiny bit cherry-picked in terms of the models they're comparing it to, but it looks good either way. And then we've got a reasoning version, which is Qwen 3 Max Thinking Heavy. I don't know how we got to this naming convention of AI models, but Qwen 3, obviously the name of the product, Max Thinking Heavy, and then OpenAI uses like mini, high, thinking. Crazy. I don't know how that trend started. But yeah, this looks like a good model. It's available via API. If you've got an Alibaba Cloud account, I don't think it's available yet on something like OpenRouter, which is maybe a more popular tool out in the West to use and switch between different AI models. But yeah, that's Qwen 3. And shout out to Alibaba for pushing all this money into AI. And these are all open source, so you can use them. You can host them on your own hardware, tweak them, etc. So yeah, all good stuff. Okay, next story. This is from Sam Altman. So when Sam publishes a blog post, Twitter or X, which is now called, absolutely loves it. So everyone jumps on board, everyone shares their take. So I thought we'd just read it together. This is called Abundant Intelligence, and let's just run through it. Growth in the use of AI services has been astonishing. We expect it to be even more astonishing going forward. As AI gets smarter, access to AI will be a fundamental driver of the economy, and maybe eventually something we consider a fundamental human right. Almost everyone will want more AI working on their behalf. To be able to deliver what the world needs, for inference compute to run these models, for training compute to keep making them better and better, we're putting the groundwork in place to be able to significantly expand our ambitions for building out AI infrastructure. If AI stays on the trajectory we think it will, then amazing things will be possible. Maybe 10 gigawatts of compute, AI can figure out how to cure cancer, or with 10 gigawatts of compute, AI can figure out how to provide customized tutoring to every student on Earth. If we are limited by compute, we'll have to choose which one to prioritize. No one wants to make that choice. So let's go build. Now, if you are maybe not as clued up with the technical terminology in the AI world, basically you need lots of compute, which live in data centers with lots of GPUs and computer power to actually, one, train the models in the first place, two, actually host the models in a way that the general public can use. ChatGPT has around 700 million users right now. So if everybody was using the model at the same time, you can imagine you need a pretty big computer to be able to serve that to people. And that is called inference or compute in general. So you just need a lot of computing power pretty much. And that's what Sam's saying here. Our vision is simple. We want to create a factory that can produce a gigawatt of new AI infrastructure every week. By the way, right now we actually don't have a single gigawatt data center, I don't think. And they want to get to a stage where we can produce a gigawatt of new AI infrastructure every week. The execution of this will be extremely difficult. It will take us years to get to this milestone, and it will require innovation at every level of the stack, from chips to power to building to robotics. But we have been hard at work on this and believe it is possible. In our opinion, it will be the coolest and most important infrastructure project ever. We are particularly excited to build a lot of this in the US. Right now, other countries are building things like chip fabs and new energy production much faster than we are, and we want to help turn the tide. Over the next couple of months, we'll be talking about some of our plans and partners we are working with to make this a reality. See Oracle, SoftBank, etc. Later this year, we'll talk about how we're financing it, given how increasing compute is the literal key to increasing revenue. We have some interesting new ideas. So that's new blog post, Abundant Intelligence by Sam Altman. It's going to need a lot more compute. This is why we're seeing all the big deals coming through. And yeah, give it a read. Hopefully, we'll keep track of this, seeing when these data centers are going to be coming on stream. But the race is between Elon and OpenAI, pretty much xAI and OpenAI, and then you've got China, Alibaba, etc. Here is something interesting, which I don't think many people know exists, and that is prompting guides from OpenAI. They produce guides that show you how you can use their models better. Now, here's one on GPT-5, which is their new flagship model, and it basically teaches you how to write better prompts, and it teaches you how the model works. So we're not going to read through it all, but the good thing you can do with this, if you're into AI and you like writing better prompts, you can kind of get this document and then feed it into an AI and say, hey, improve my prompt according to this prompting guide. Now, we can scan through this if you want, but they basically give you examples of controlling the agentic eagerness, prompting for less eagerness, and they give you just a little hints and tips about how to prompt, because sometimes what happens if you change a model, if you change from, say, I don't know, GPT-4 to GPT-5, then the same prompt is going to get or give you a different type of answer back. It's going to be slightly different. So here is kind of how to tweak it. Here's some examples, some code, and an explainer to go along with it. Now, it also dives into how this will change for front-end development too. So there's a bunch of examples. This is from the OpenAI cookbook. So if you go to the actual cookbook itself, you've got a bunch of guides here. You have information on agents, information on multimodal, from text, from the open source models to optimization. So you can click into any one of these, and let's say you are still using, maybe you want to build a voice assistant with the Agents SDK. You have a guide on how to use the Responses API and the SDK and the voice agents, how to set it up, defining the agents and tools. But you get the idea. There's a bunch of information here, all in the OpenAI cookbook for you to start using. And you can even feed this to an LLM. If you're using like a Cursor or an AI engineering tool, use this as Markdown, use it as training data or as a knowledge base, and it will help you build them way better according to the guidelines set by OpenAI. So yeah, that's the cookbook. It's available at cookbook.openai. And they also have the academy.openai too, which has got a bunch of lessons. So give that a shot. So turn a couple of lights on. Okay, what have we got next? Scale AI. This is coming out from the Scale AI research team. We'll touch on this quickly because it's quite a niche subject, but introducing the SEAL Showdown. Real people, real conversations, and real rankings. And now if you don't know who Scale AI are, they are a company that helps label training data for LLMs. So data is kind of messy, and you need to be able to tell an AI model before training or at certain points during training what the data is, and it gets better results. We just give you a more succinct explain. Scale AI to me. This is a good way to use an assistant. This is Comet Browser, by the way. Here we go. Scale AI is a company focused on providing infrastructure and tools to help organizations develop, test, and deploy artificial intelligence systems at scale. Their platform is essentially geared towards enabling more accurate, fair, and practical evaluation of AI models using real-world data. And yeah, this is the SEAL showdown. This is kind of like Scale AI, the backbone infrastructure provider for the AI industry, with solutions aimed at improving accuracy, etc. They're actually purchased by Meta, or one of these acqui-hire deals into Meta. But this is a post on research for them. So every few weeks, a new large language model is released, each claiming to be smarter, safer, and more capable. Adoption has exploded, with people relying on LLMs from everything from personal tasks to critical work applications. But here's the catch. The way we evaluate these models hasn't kept up. Most benchmarks rely on synthetic tests, coding puzzles, math problems, or feedback from a small slice of people. Tech enthusiasts fixated on edge cases. They miss the full spectrum of how real people actually use their models in their daily lives. This leaves a simple question that remains surprisingly hard to answer. Which models actually work best for the people that use them? That's where the SEAL showdown comes in. I like the name. Today, we're expanding our SEAL leaderboards, SEAL leaderboards, with our public leaderboard, one built on real preferences, real people, and real world use across practical categories like country, education level, age, language, and soon profession. So not just doing like automated testing, actually using real people and real rankings, so people can get an idea of, is it actually going to work for them or not? And it just goes down through to how it's different. So insights that they've gained so far are regional. ChatGPT leads in Europe, while Claude and ChatGPT are tied for number one across other continents. In Africa and Oceania, Gemini also pulls ahead to join them in the top spot. In language, Gemini performs better with non-English users than with English users. That's interesting. And with demographics, ChatGPT leads with users aged 30 to 50. Claude and ChatGPT are tied among 18 to 30-year-olds, or Gemini rises to tie with Claude and GPT among users 50 plus. Some other insights too. There's like a quick snippet of people choosing what responses they prefer. You might have seen this if you use an AI model for any length of time. But yeah, Scale AI is still doing good stuff on the model evaluation frameworks. This all goes into the pile of helping people choose which model is best for them, because researchers and key individuals in the companies are able to benchmark these models properly. So if you're a writer, if you want to do like image editing, if you want to use a vision model, you know which models are good for what. That's the long and short of it. Okay, we're just going to touch on here. We've got a quick bit of news. AI chips getting hotter. The microfluidics breakthrough goes straight to the silicon to cool up to 3 times better. This is just a research breakthrough. We'll just touch on it briefly, where each generation of chips is more powerful. They end up getting hotter, and we need to figure out better ways of cooling them. So you've seen, if you've had a new iPhone, for instance, or as you upgrade your iPhone, it's more powerful. Sometimes it can get hot if it hasn't got the proper cooling technology. And in this case, this is going for AI chips too. So Microsoft has successfully tested a cooling system that removed heat up to 3 times better than cold plates, an advanced cooling technology commonly used today. It uses microfluidics, an approach that brings liquid coolant directly inside the silicon where the heat is. Tiny channels are etched directly into the back of the silicon chip, creating grooves, allowing cooling liquid to flow directly onto the chip and more efficiently remove heat. So as chips get more powerful, we need better technology, better cooling, etc. And we're getting breakthroughs from Microsoft here. We're not going to dive into too much detail, obviously, because we're here for more product stuff, but Microsoft are doing its thing, which is good. Yeah, Microsoft is part of a bigger Microsoft initiative to advance next generation cooling techniques and optimize for every part of the cloud stack. This is going to be perfect for data centers, etc. too. And yeah, they're making breakthroughs over there, which is good for them. Okay, now we move over to Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is going to be the first truly AI native government across all digital services by 2027. They launched their Abu Dhabi government digital strategy recently, which covers the years 2025 to 2027. Let me just see if we can zoom in on this a bit more so you can read it properly. Yeah, they recently announced their digital strategy 2025-2027, advancing the Emiratis' transformation towards an AI-powered government, implemented by the Department of Government Enablement in collaboration with government entities. This strategy aims to position the Emirati as a global leader in AI-driven government, and will deploy 13 billion AED through 2025 to 2027 to foster innovation and technology adoption in the Emirate. If you live in like a European country, like I do, I'm currently in Spain, we don't see much of this. We don't see much of an entire government being handed over to work with AI. It's more of like a slowly catchy monkey scenario, but people like Abu Dhabi and Dubai, etc., and China, I guess, will be racing ahead. We saw a news article from Albania, I think, where they appointed the first AI minister, and looks like Abu Dhabi will be pushing ahead of that really fast too. As a part of the AI for All program under the strategy, the Abu Dhabi government is investing in training and empowering its citizens in AI applications. Additionally, over 200 innovative AI solutions will be implemented across government services, solidifying Abu Dhabi's position as a global hub for AI-driven innovation. This strategy also promotes the development of robust digital guidelines and frameworks to ensure the highest cybersecurity standards to anticipate and address future challenges effectively. Here you go. There's a quote from His Excellency Ahmed Hisham Al Kutab. The Abu Dhabi government digital strategy reflects our leadership's vision of being an AI native government, seamlessly integrating AI across all government systems for a future that's proactive, agile, and fully technology enabled. By incorporating AI, cloud, and data-driven insights into our government's DNA, we will transform public service delivery, optimize government operations, and drive sustainable economic growth. Just a few more quotes here about building on a decade of digital evolution, progressing from an e-government to smart and now to AI-powered services. Now, there's a lot of countries that aren't even at digital government or digital kind of e-government level. There's a lot of services you have to still do in person in many countries, even many Western countries that are falling far behind. And with the AI ramp up and how mobile capital is these days to move between countries and to seek investment, etc., it's tough if you fall behind, because the global competition for talent to attract people to your country and start businesses and create jobs. You want to kind of stay ahead, especially in the era of AI and the intelligence age that we're in. Yeah, it's epic to see through Abu Dhabi. I'd love to speak to somebody who is actually involved in this. If you know anybody, hit me up, because this seems very cool. Congrats to Abu Dhabi. Okay, Higgsfield feels like we talk about Higgsfield a lot, but they must be, I think, one startup that ships the fastest of many or most of the AI companies. And AI moves fast in general, but Higgsfield seems to ship new features or new models every single day. Today, Unlimited WAN 2.5 is live. Now with sound and daily free generations. Enjoy full HD at any aspect ratio, available from day 0 on Higgsfield. Okay, let's see if we can watch this. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's got sound. Let me just play the sound. 2 secs. Let me switch. Okay, here we go.
Why do you talk to me like that?
Because I can. Talk.
Unlimited WAN 2.5 for a week.
If you saw any of these clips like a year ago, you would probably not even believe they're AI. If you sent this whole video to one of your elderly or even slightly older family members who isn't as clued up, you wouldn't be able to tell that's AI. To the untrained eye, even to kind of most trained eyes now, you wouldn't know. But yeah, 1.2.5 is now live with Higgsfield. This is a Qwen model here. Powered by wave speed. I'm not sure what wave speed is, but you now get unlimited 1, 2, and 5 inside of Higgsfield until the end of the month. And you just look at some of the qualities of the video. It's pretty insane. So kudos to them. Okay, next up we have, bear with, let's make this bigger. Okay, we've got another product from Google Labs. They've introduced something called Mixboard, an experimental AI-powered concepting board designed to help you explore, visualize, and refine your ideas, powered by our latest image generation model. It's currently only available in the US and it's open for public beta. So if you're watching this from the US, I think you can try it. We can go ahead again. We'll watch this announcement video. That's cool. It's like an infinite type of creative canvas. Drop loads of images in there. This is like an AI powered, I guess, like Pinterest thing, rather than saving items to a board. Maybe it's less discovery, obviously, but saving items to a board and getting recommended more. Maybe you can now just add them to Mixboard, and then it can combine them, come up with themes. Again, you saw the virtual try-on thing where you can try on clothes. And there's been actually a lot. That's actually really popular app category too. So if you're looking for ideas of how to use different AI models, then the fashion world, like virtual try-ons with clothes and changing styles, they're actually exploding. And there's a lot of really good apps now because, again, if you're trying on clothes and they don't fit well, take them back. But yeah, we like it. From Google Labs. Could be dead next week. Could still be around. We don't know, but it's available today. US only public beta. You can try it at this link here, blog.google/technology/Google Labs and Mixboard, or just available on the Google Labs X page. So check it out there. Okay, next up, we have Suno Music. This is their version V5. So everything changes with Suno V5. Launching today for Pro and Premier subscribers, the world's best music model delivers more immersive audio, authentic vocals, and unparalleled creative control that will transform how you make music. If you haven't actually heard of Suno before, which if you're new to, I don't know, trying out new AI tools, etc., then Suno lets you make any song that you can imagine. And looks like they're working on this too, a studio. But Suno is incredible. Let's go ahead and actually watch this because, again, we got some music. We like to get a full idea of all these launch announcements because I think it says a lot about the product and whether you yourself will try them. So we'll try to play everyone for you. Let's go ahead.
I'm singing a few. You got me feeling new. Beautiful we do. Melodies and you. All these little dreams are just so close to come true.
That sounds outstanding by Suno. Oh my god, I remember listening to the first when V1 came out, and then you've got all the people who are like, oh yeah, it's kind of good, but you can tell it's like the trained ear, or as a musician, this doesn't sound great. But like V5, it just gets leaps and bounds better continuously. So Suno is obviously working on these models, and V5 seems to be absolutely epic. We've got a little chart here. See how good is V5. See for yourself. Is the third model in a row to beat third-party music models and the best by far. And I don't really know, like, is this a public benchmark model, ELO model score if like your model's the only one included? But maybe it is. Maybe it's just showing that it's getting better. I'm not sure exactly how they're benchmarking it, but it sounds great to me. So you can try it actually today over at suno.com. Okay. Next on the docket. This is something that I was actually really excited by. Lottie Lab, which is a powerful video editor / animation, visual animation tool, I guess, motion editing. And this was a skill that was actually traditionally very difficult. So motion design, motion animation, just animation in general is really hard. If you've ever made videos which are anything more than just like talking to the camera, you might know what I'm talking about. And they had a really good tool anyway. Lottie is a great tool for Lottie animations, but now they've released or are releasing a new product called Burp. The waitlist officially now open, and this is an AI powered motion design tool to make this a lot easier, I think. So let's go and we'll watch this one too. So good. Like, amazing launch video. Like, really good example. This is just something that like you just couldn't do before without AI. Just actually asking it to do something like that with natural language. Burp is now available. What was the address to make sure we had it right? Burp.app. You can join the waitlist here. And yeah, I think a bunch of people are going to be looking forward to using this, and everyone's videos are all of a sudden going to be a hell of a lot better. Just the bar raising or being raised continuously by new products that are being created with AI, new capabilities being added every single day. So shout out to Lottie Lab and shout out to Burp. That looks incredible. Okay. There was a tweet that went out the other day, and Matthew McConaughey was on Joe Rogan, and he said he wanted a private LLM, like a private AI that knows his books, notes, journals, and aspirations, so he can ask questions and get his answers based solely on that material, not training anything else. So it has none of this like Wikipedia, Reddit, etc. training data. It's just his stuff. Now, there's been a few people saying that it already exists, or they've referenced something like Notebook LM through Google, but we've got one more here, and it's from Nexa AI. They're an on-device AI deployment and research tool. They say Matthew McConaughey's dream private LLM already exists. It's called Hyperlink, an offline private AI agent that knows every file you own. Just reset screen sharing. Let me just do this. Sometimes it happens with this browser for some reason, but we're going to pursue it. Okay, it's called Hyperlink, an offline private AI agent that knows every file you own, search files, and discover buried insights with it. AI runs 100% locally. Hey, Matthew, want to try it? Anyone can set it up in minutes. Okay, so you can add files. It looks like familiar to a layout we know, and then it will show the related files that you are using. Runs locally on your own device. Okay, so you can try Hyperlink. It's here, hyperlink.nexa.ai. Let me just see what this site is. Click through, give them the credit here. Offline private AI agent for files. It's in beta. You can download it for Mac, download it for Windows. But yeah, looks nice. Looks like a nice site. It's exactly what Mr. McConaughey would like. So yeah, look forward to giving that a try. Okay, next up, we have a new release from Google. This is the latest Gemini Live model. So if you've used Gemini, they released a multimodal live model, and it was called Flash or Flash 2 or Flash 2.5, where you could talk with it live, it can talk back, it can see your screen, it can do anything instantly. And that was a new one, built on all the things you love about Gemini, with significantly improved function calling and more natural feeling, sounding conversations, thanks to native audio. Native audio is basically audio in, audio out, rather than audio in, transcribed, text out, back to voice, translate back to voice and back. So native audio. And you can try it out now at AI.studio live. This is the start of the second act of the Live API. So much more to come over the next few months. The frontier is omnipresent AI agents you interact with by voice and camera. So the Live API is basically enabling you or I or any other developer to create products that can see the real world and interact with you in real time. So you can open your camera or create an app that has a camera and a microphone, and you can use the Live API to say, okay, what color is that chair? What's it made out of? Where can I find it? Or how do I escape from here? Or what is this tree? These live like identifier apps, which are doing really well online. These can all be powered with the Gemini Live API. And of course, you can build voice assistants, which don't need to use a screen, but all of this is now enhanced through this new version of the Gemini Live model. You can try it today inside of the AI studio. You can do things like set the voice, etc. Maybe we'll come back to that in a second if you've got a bit of time at the end to see how this works. But yeah, this is Gemini 2.5 Flash Native Audio Preview 09 2025. Again, we've got very catchy AI names in this industry, but yeah, kudos to the Gemini team. Flash Live is absolutely epic. Next, another little product update. This is probably slightly more niche, but there's a tool called Browser Use, which is basically a tool which you can connect an app into or just use standalone, which is an AI that can use the browser. So if you wanted like an AI to visit a site, get some information and bring it back to you, you potentially would use something like Browser Use. And it is just got a little feature update. So Browser Use can now get past restrictions that your traditional web scraper can't. Unlock an agent's true potential with our AI-friendly browsers hosted in the Browser Use cloud. You go to cloud.browser-use.com, all it takes is declaring your browser with use cloud true. Okay, so if you're using browser use, so each one of these is like a session. So if you use browser use, it's going to fire up like a virtual browser, like you and I will use like a Safari or a Chrome, or in this case, a Comet. Browser use will go up and fire up a virtual one of those inside a virtual like computer in the cloud, and it will take actions on your behalf. And this is now making that even better, basically. Yeah, here's an example of that. And you can see in the terminal down below the actions that it's taking. Okay, let me just pause so you can see that. Full screen. No, okay. But yeah, you should see that at the bottom that the agent can use a browser, it can take tasks for you inside of a virtual browser. Yeah, kudos to the browser use team. So it's a great tool. Okay, little interesting find. If you are building things on the internet, then chances are that you know that actually digging around for logos is really interesting. This is slightly a little bit off topic, but if you're building AI apps, which I hope a lot of people are, then this is going to be really useful. It says from Doodoo, was looking for brand icons today, then remembered this existed. You can basically go to toolfolio.io, the SVG library, type in exactly what logo you want, in this case, Stripe, just press the download button and you've got the SVG immediately available. You know, if you ever looked online for logos before, typing them into Google and then trying to download one, it's kind of hit or miss. Some people get you with a fake transparent PNG background, but here you have them all segmented and searchable and instantly downloaded for you. So I thought that was just an interesting tool to share today that might be useful for some people. Okay, we have now a new look. Let me just zoom out because this tweet's formatted in that way. No comment. Okay, we're seeing a few people are getting a new version of the ChatGPT web app. So depending on which AI tools you've used before, sometimes you just have like your blank box. Sometimes you have prompts underneath it, which kind of help you navigate. Some of them have drop downs. Now, this is a new test we saw here through Luis saying, I just noticed this on ChatGPT's web app. Looks cool. And then you have these four box suggestions underneath. So depending on the type of stuff you like to do, it will suggest some things, some capabilities that maybe you didn't know existed. And then a tweet from Tibor, who is really good at kind of finding leaks or updates in the AI world. He basically said, there's a bunch of new starter prompt tiles, so try something new in the ChatGPT web app. And he lists them all here. And this is kind of the full new screenshot ChatGPT. So you may be seeing a new ChatGPT soon. Okay, quick demo, a little bit pushed for time at the end here, but we're going to actually show, I guess, probably one of the fastest growing startups of all time, if not the fastest growing startup of all time, and that's Lovable. So if you are wanting to get started with AI and kind of don't really know where to start, but you want to build something, maybe you've got an idea for a website or a web app or a mobile app or a directory site or something personal to you, then you wouldn't go far wrong actually just trying Lovable to start. Now, once you arrive here, all you're going to need to do is input some words into this box in front of us, and it's going to give you something back. So for instance, I want to say, I'm a professional photographer based in Mallorca, and I'd like to create a personal portfolio site to showcase my work and potentially capture leads from people who might be interested in my services. I do things like weddings, yacht photography, action sports, etc. Okay, I'm not actually a professional photographer. That was just what I came off the top of my head. Okay, you're going to put something like this into Lovable, and then you're just going to press this button. And bear in mind, this is actually a free account from Lovable. So even if you didn't want to spend any money, you can go ahead and start building a site or an app or a product that you've always wanted to build with no money, with $0. So if this is the first time seeing this, if you've seen this done a million times and you're kind of clued up in the AI space, then maybe don't worry about this. But this is how it works. What it's going to do, it's going to go and think about what your prompt is here, and then it's going to explain what it's doing. And then on the right-hand side, it's kind of getting to work. So it says, I'll create a stunning professional photographer website portfolio that showcases your Mallorca-based work beautifully. Then it goes through all the features it's going to implement: hero section, portfolio gallery, about section, services, professional contact form. It's going to make it responsive and mobile first. Again, if you've ever gone to maybe an agency to create these for you, these are going to be your upsells. It's going to be an extra X amount of money to make it responsive, or if you want it mobile first, it's going to be an additional cost. And then here it talks about its design approach. So we're going with a sophisticated color palette, deep navy primary with warm gold accents for a luxury feel, clean typography with beautiful hierarchy, full width imagery, etc. And then at the bottom, you can see it says, let me start by creating the design system and generating some portfolio worthy images. So here's the preview. Now, the interesting thing about all these like AI engineering apps, if you usually fall two sides of the coin. You either use like a drag and drop website creation tool like a Wix or a Squarespace, or maybe if you went even higher than that, then like a Webflow. But what this does with these AI engineering, AI web building tools, it kind of abstracts all of the complexity away and just gives you the chat box with what you want, and then the preview that just shows you when it's done and when it's in its first version. If, however, you are slightly more technical and you want to have control over the code or want to see the code, then you've got the option here. You can kind of view the code being written in real time. So you can see all the components, the hooks, the pages, etc. But for 95% of us, we only care when it's done. So you can leave it run for a bit. If you wanted to look at some other examples too, actually we can see. Yeah, okay. Let's actually talk through this a moment too, because I think it's actually quite important, because some people might land on this page and either think it's broken maybe, or think, is it actually working? But this is a good job to give you that clue. But if you open this, you can see exactly what the AI is doing. First up, it edited this file, then it thought for 2 seconds and it edited it again. Then it goes through, it creates an image, it generates an image, and it's reading a file, editing, and it's going through one by one, creating, editing, and updating all the files that we need to actually create this product or this website, which and in, I think, a couple of minutes, it will have it ready for us. Now, there's a couple of other sites too, which do this depending on maybe your levels of technical know-how or how simple you want it. There's Bolt.new is another really good one that I recommend. There's Replit, R-E-P-L-I-T, which is more of a kind of full stack application building tool. So if you think maybe Lovable and Bolt are great for websites and maybe simpler web apps, again, you can get complicated, but if you're getting into database payments, auth territory, then maybe a Replit is a more full stack option for you. They're the main ones. In the mobile app side, you can now do exactly the same with mobile apps. You could use a tool like Rourke, for instance, which is the same, similar to this, but actually developing mobile apps. Or you could use a tool called Vibecode app, which enables you to actually build and publish apps into the App Store through a mobile app, and that's called Vibecode app. But yeah, we're getting a lot of capabilities going on right now. We'll see if we can actually finish. We'll get a preview of this in time before the stream ends. We've got a countdown of, let's have a look. I think we've got 5. Yeah, we've got 5. We've got 6 minutes. I think we're going to get there. Here we go. I've created a stunning professional photography portfolio website for your Mallorca-based photography business. Here's what I built: sophisticated design system, hero section, portfolio gallery, about section. We're actually a bit shrunk down because I've got this. Maybe, yeah, okay. Here you go. Pretty simple website, but again, kind of everything you need to get started off with. It's got everything I wanted: the yacht, weddings, action, sports photography, about you with some good text. We need an image here, and then some photography services too. So it's just built that, I think, just in a few minutes. Got a nice form. We can do with tweaking the buttons too, but yeah, so it's a really good start. Once you've actually done this, you can do a few things. It says what's next. You can refine it and customize, obviously tweak it. Say maybe this button needs a bit of an update. Use the chat mode to plan additional features. Use the backend features to connect to things like Supabase. We're not going to cover that today. So basically a backend database. But yeah, let's actually try and edit one. Let's go and say, we're going to chat mode. Actually, let me go to here. This is an edit button, actually, is worth doing. We're going to go to edit, go to button, and you go fix the colorway of this button. I can't spell, but actually that doesn't matter. And you press enter, and you can actually get the AI to edit those bits for you. There's also chat mode, which you mentioned here. Now, what happens if you put in a prompt here, or if you put in a reply or a comment or a request, you'll actually just go and apply that to your website. It will interpret what you want, and I'll actually just go and apply that. But what you could do, so yeah, we fix this button. You can just navigate to chat mode. Make sure it finishes the reply. Okay, let's go to chat mode, and you can say, give me 5 ways I can improve this site. Is there anything missing? Now, when you're in chat mode, this actually isn't going to make any changes to your site. It's just going to give you some ideas. And then you can kind of go back and forward, confident that there's not going to be any updates to your site, because I'm seeing a lot of people, sometimes they try and make a change and then it updates the site and they can't go back, and then they have to start the site again. That's why chat mode is really useful. So here's what it's suggesting of how we can improve our site. Okay, we've got a plan. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. Okay, what's phase 1? Essential navigation and structure. Let's create a responsive navigation header component with smooth scrolling. Okay, let's go with, let me just check. Number 1. Okay, let's do that. So we're still on free credits. Like this is a free account. Okay, let's go with number 1 and give it a good navigation bar and press enter. And now we're not in chat mode now, so it'll actually go ahead and apply those changes for us. If you wanted to follow exactly what it's doing, you can see here. It shows it's thinking, and that's editing the file. So you see it's called navigation.tsx. You don't really know what that needs to mean, but that's just a file which is going to create the component that's going to act as your navigation, because as you add more pages to your site, you need a way to navigate it. These presents, like being able to create websites and simple apps like this, it's actually a huge opportunity for people who are wanting to start making money with AI. There's probably a huge amount of businesses, local businesses, companies who either have old websites or no website at all. So you could literally just use a free Lovable account and say, hey, notice you didn't have a website. I built one for you. Here it is. If you're interested, you can pay me. If not, all good. And yeah, again, we've used free credits. That's taken us 9 minutes or slightly over 9 minutes or so. And we've got a site that you could probably use. We've got a navigation bar, and we're good to go. So yeah, that's Lovable. If you haven't seen Lovable before, highly recommend you giving it a try. It's the fastest growing startup of all time. And yeah, now you can build websites in just a couple of minutes. And that is it for today. That's the stream. We covered all the AI news. We covered a tool for you to learn at the end in Lovable. And like usual, there's a bunch of updates every single day. So thanks for watching along, and I will catch you on the next one. If you'd like to learn more about AI, you can go to shiny.school/start. We'll be posting regular lessons and tutorials and workshops covering everything that's going on in this space. And I will catch you tomorrow, same time at 1 p.m. CET, every day live stream for an hour.